AI delivery from space by 2030. Elon Musk, in a conversation with Jensen Huang on the future of technology, AI and space at US-Saudi Forum on November 19, 2025 said, "The Earth only receives roughly 2 billionths of the sun's energy." And from that one sentence, an entire map of the future unfolded. What he was really saying is that the age of planetary limits is ending, and the age of stellar-scale abundance is beginning. Almost overnight, beginning. The sun pours out 382 septillion watts every second. Yet humanity has spent its entire history fighting over the microscopic sliver that happens to graze one small planet. Once we decide to stop doing that, everything about energy, compute, and therefore intelligence changes forever. The bottleneck today is brutally simple. A modern AI supercomputer rack weighs 2 tons, and 95% of that mass is cooling hardware. Chillers, pumps, heat exchangers, raised floors, water treatment plants, diesel backup generators, also a few hundred kilograms of silicon can stay below 85 degrees C. Move those chips into the cold vacuum of space, give them thin solar wings, and nothing but radiative black paint on the backside, and the same flops are produced with almost no cooling mass, almost no water, and electricity that costs essentially zero after the launch. Elon's punchline, that within 4 or 5 years, by 2029-2030, the lowest cost AI compute on the planet will actually be off the planet, is not hyperbole once Starship is flying 100 times a year and dropping payloads into orbit for a few $100s per kilogram. That single economic inversion quietly detonates the entire terrestrial data center supply chain we have spent the last decade building. The hundreds of billions of dollars flowing into liquid cooling companies, industrial chillers, copper cable manufacturers, commercial real estate hyperscale campuses, and even the new wave of small modular nuclear reactors will, within a decade, look like the coal steam locomotive industry looked in 1955. Still huge, still profitable, and suddenly obsolete. The steel, concrete, and fresh water that we are frantically pouring into 500-megawatt AI factories in Virginia, Iowa, and Ireland will become stranded assets almost as fast as fiber optic dark cable became stranded in 2001. The winners instead will be ultralight space-grade solar cells, radiation-hardened GPUs, orbital robotics, laser power, beaming, and whoever can manufacture chips that no longer need heat sinks at all. NVIDIA, far from being a victim of this shift, becomes its greatest beneficiary. Their chips were already the picks and shovels of the AI gold rush. In orbit, they literally become the gold. StarCloud's fridge-sized H100 satellite that launched 2 weeks ago is only the first pebble in what will become an avalanche of orbital Blackwell and Rubin silicon. Google's Project Suncatcher, SpaceX's own Starlink-derived compute swarms, Axiom's ISS-hosted racks, China's microwave beaming experiments from China. Every serious player is now racing to put NVIDIA-class, or NVIDIA literal, accelerators where the energy is free and the cooling is infinite. The moat widens, not narrows. What emerges by the early 2030s is a new topology of intelligence. The overwhelming majority of training and heavy inference happens in vast solar-powered constellations, perhaps millions of independent satellites in carefully choreographed orbits, while only latency-sensitive tasks, self-driving cars, mobile phones, gaming, surgery robots, stay on the ground in small edge pods. The Earth's electrical grid, instead of scaling to tens of terawatts for AI, actually begins to shrink its AI load and can redirect that capacity to electrifying transport, industry, and desalination. Water consumption for AI drops from billions of gallons a year to essentially zero. Entire industries built around keeping silicon cold simply evaporate.